You heard Cassie's New Year's resolution?
Oh, what is it?
She's on another diet.
What for?
Well, you've got to understand. She just wants to look different.
I think she looks fine. What's the point?
You wouldn't get it because you're a guy.
That's not true, you know that. I mean, everyone wants to be slimmer, or maybe more muscle than anything.
I guess. I've done it, and it just makes you so miserable. You get more tired, and then you can't get up. You could never get up.
Then what's the point?
There isn't any. You have to wonder why people do it. Hi, I'm Molly and I'm 17. My friends and I have just had a great Christmas holiday, but now we're back at school and all that anyone seems to be talking about is New Year's resolutions. Loads of my friends are going on diets after the Christmas binge. They've stopped eating breakfast, and some of them just seem to have stopped eating altogether. But I'm just not sure about all this dieting. I used to diet. I was very aware of the fact I wasn't super skinny, but when I did, I couldn't function on such an empty stomach. I'm sure there's got to be other options for teenagers who want to stay healthy and look good. So I'm on a mission to find out. I want to know why most diets seem to fail, whether they can actually be bad for us, and what the healthy alternatives are for teenagers like me. But first, I'm going to find out why so many young people turn to dieting. Joe Brody is a professional advisor who works for a youth charity called Young Minds. Part of Joe's job is to help young people whose families are concerned about their eating habits. Hi Joe, thanks for meeting with me. You deal with lots of teenagers whose dieting has become a real problem. I wonder if you could talk me through some of the reasons they've turned to dieting in the first place.
Well, teenagers are under quite a lot of stress. They're under stress both socially and academically. And I think the stress is what creates a real focus on how they look. You know, they've got to look as good as they think everybody else looks. And so you're starting dieting, not necessarily because you're overweight, but because you want to change your image. You start it, therefore, from an emotional point of view. And the emotional can become the physical, because if you go on and on dieting, because you're never thin enough, then your stomach shrinks, it becomes a habit, and before you know it, you're into an eating problem.
And are there any other sorts of problems that dieting can lead to?
Well, when you diet, you feel more in control, which is another facet of being a teenager, that you don't usually feel in control of anything. But actually, then the dieting starts to control you. You lose weight, obviously. You then start to lose concentration at school. You then start perhaps to fall behind with your work. So actually things around you are becoming more out of control.
I know I, for one, feel that the media can influence me. I mean, I'm under pressure all the time to lose weight. Seeing pictures of Keira Knightley doesn't exactly help. But what would you say to someone who does feel that pressure?
I think you're absolutely right, that it is an enormous pressure, and that they are also very unreal images. And I think it's a shocking fact and an interesting fact that there are 1 in 100, 1% of teenagers between the ages of 16 to 18 who are actually dieting unhealthily. Mostly those are girls, but for every 10 girls there is also one bloke who is dieting in that sort of way. It's a cultural thing. People in India, people in Africa like the image of being larger and rounded because it actually means they've got enough money to eat. It means that they're quite wealthy. 300 years ago in this country, Rembrandt's paintings, you'll see, large, voluptuous women. That was the status symbol then as opposed to the status symbol now. We need to sort of get a bigger view of it, and we need to maybe talk with our friends about, actually, do I want to look so bony? But you're right, you've hit the nail on the head. It is very, very difficult. And the media has a lot of responsibility.
Young Minds, the charity you represent, is concerned with young people's well-being and happiness. How can our attitudes towards food help achieve those goals?
That's a good question. I mean, first and foremost, we must try not to judge ourselves by the way we look. You know, we've got lots of other talents and aspects to our lives. And to aim to eat a balanced diet. You never change your body shape. However much you diet, if you've got a large bum, you still have that at the end of your dieting. And the aggravating thing is that the weight falls off other areas much faster than it does the area that you don't particularly like. If you've got short legs, you don't lengthen them by dieting. So remember that we all don't like things about our body, but our body is only a very small part of us.